live from New York. It's a show that's dropping weight for their prize fights.
This guy.
I got a half
talking
marathon
about draft
coming up.
marathon.
Well, I've been dropping
Nobody
weight.
cares.
A lot of people
Nobody
care. I got
cares.
several emails about it.
I care a while.
Thank you.
Brew.
I do.
Thank you.
I just called you the
A
most
little
honest
bit.
man in sports
Who cares
television.
a little
to start
bit?
out with a
Supporting
lie.
A little bit.
Today,
A little bit.
we get the full Chiefs schedule. We actually got all the teams' schedule. After last year's 20-0 prediction, how bold will this year's take be? Are we going in the wrong direction on the hotness of the takes? Maybe. Meanwhile, we start with a look at the Chiefs' full schedule. A tough start, but both of those games are at home. NFL.com has Kansas City with the 16th toughest schedule. That doesn't seem...
16?
Yeah, that seems...
It's because of the division. Division stinks.
Yeah.
So that's why.
There you go.
Yeah. We've also got a Christmas Day matchup against the Steelers and a Week 7 Super Bowl rematch on Fox in San Francisco, which is after their bye, Chiefs bye. Super Bowl odds, 49ers, Kansas City, Baltimore, then a log jam at 4, Bengals, Lions, Bills, Eagles, Cowboys, Texans, and then finally the Packers.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask you two questions here. Which team is more likely to get back to the Super Bowl, 49ers or the Chiefs? And do you have some sort of 20-0 sequel?
Another tattoo?
Something, you know? Today's the day.
It wasn't, no. That came last year in September.
But it feels like today's the day.
Yeah, well, today's not the day for any bold Chiefs prediction. There might be a different bold prediction coming up in this very segment. However, let me answer the question that we all agreed upon at a meeting that I did have to miss this morning at 10 a.m., which is more likely to go to the Super Bowl, the Chiefs or the Niners. And it's an insulting question, just like those Vegas odds are insulting. Obviously, unequivocally, without a doubt, the answer is the Kansas City Chiefs. And it is not only because the Niners went to last year's Super Bowl and lost, and you have, in the last 30 years, the only team to go to the Super Bowl after losing it was quarterbacked by Tom Brady. And it's not just because the Chiefs are clearly the best team in football. It is also because the Chiefs, the NFL, it's almost as if they have intentionally stacked the odds against Kansas City. And they will, because...
How so?
Well, I'm so glad you asked, Brew. Let me show you how, because who you play is set by a computer. The Chiefs, the first team ever to have to play every day of the week except Tuesday. They have 4 short weeks. They have a Week 6 bye, which is brutal. You want it as late as possible. And they have a 49-day stretch where they play 1 game in the cozy confines of Arrowhead Stadium. Despite all of that.
Do they play on Friday?
Yeah, Black Friday. They play Black Friday, they play a Wednesday, they play every day but Tuesday. And by the way, I could see them getting flexed to a Tuesday because the NFL's trying to screw with them. But that's fine. You want to give
toughest schedule.
Well, that again.
Baltimore's got the second toughest.
But that is set by the math. You're not allowed to change that. All you can change is the order. So how do they start it? With Kansas City having to face in back-to-back weeks the 2 teams they dispatched from the AFC title game. How do they end the season? Back-to-back weeks on the road. What about leading up to that? They have 3 games in 10 days, which I know Wildes thinks is insane. I think it's a little hard, but we can have that argument again if you'd like it. Do they get a little rest before that? No, they don't have. They have their bye 2 months prior.
Raiders, Bucks.
Again,
Broncos.
The Raiders and the Broncos are in the division.
Well,
there's nothing you can do about that. And your team's dynasty was built on the corpses of Jets and Bills and Dolphins. Nobody's at quarterback. So don't even give me that. But it's still Kansas City because they had the best player to ever play and their their worst season the last 6 years is 12 wins and an overtime loss in the conference title game. Their median season is a Super Bowl win. Their slightly below average season is a Super Bowl loss, and their above average season is a Super Bowl win. So, yeah, the answer is Kansas City, and you have to agree. Bro.
It's hard to argue because I agree with you that Patrick Mahomes is the best ever.
Thank you.
In fact, I was the first.
We can
to
move on.
Yeah.
You were not the first to say it.
First to compare him to Michael Jordan, say Jordan Ness, all of that, and everybody knows it. All right, that just sticks in Nick's craw.
Because it's not
really
true.
Sticks in his craw. I think it is true, actually.
Okay.
And look. Everything you said, a lot of that is true. They haven't had bad seasons. I think they actually got better, right? And I think the fact that they had what we would call a bad regular season, that's fair, right? Ended 5-5. I think that's just going to help motivate them to go out and play well this year. But, and I fully sat down to work out my answer thinking Chiefs. But then something struck me. And look, I may change this in the fall when we make our predictions.
This is not prediction time.
Lest I get pelted with rocks next time we go back to Kansas City. But as I was sitting down putting together my answer, I said, you know what?
What?
I think it's the Niners.
Why?
And here's why.
Thank you.
It's kind of, it's not like X's and O's. Yeah.
It's esoteric. It's a thought. It's a feeling.
It's their last hurrah.
Oh.
It's their last hurrah. Because I looked at it like they went to the Super Bowl a few years ago with Garoppolo. They went last year. Can they keep going back? I mean, that's going to be a lot of mental energy just to get back.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But then I said, hold up. McCaffrey has been healthy the last 2 years, and he's that age for running backs, 27.
Yep.
Is he going to be healthy? First of all, will he even be healthy this year? But let's hope he is. But this might be his last great season. That's certainly on the board for a running back, right?
Yeah.
Debo's name's already been mentioned in trade rooms. They're going to have to pay Purdy. Let's say he has a good year. They're going to have to pay him, which means you might lose some other people.
Trent Williams old.
Yeah, so I'm going to say that because this is their last hurrah and the NFC is weaker, even though it's gotten better, it's still weaker than AFC. I'm going to say the Niners.
Are you not at all worried about the Niners potentially having a really slow start? Because I am.
Why?
Well,
Aaron Rodgers?
So I think that the Jets are a live dog in that game. I think Brew agrees. I think that
in San Francisco?
Yeah, I think let me put it like this. I think the Jets will be at maybe the best they are all year in week 1. Because they're injury-prone offensive lineman, wide receiver, and quarterback. Okay. Again, stuff does happen in training camp, but we would assume that will be as close to whole as they are.
Yeah, but it's
going to be a tough game for them.
I buy that, but do you also buy Aaron Rodgers hasn't really thrown a football and,
Yeah, I think he'll get some, yes, agreed. But I think he'll get some maybe more preseason reps this year than he typically would. And then their next 2 games are 2 teams that beat them last year. In Minnesota and in the Los Angeles Rams. I think the Rams are really good. And obviously the Patriots and Cardinals are 2 of the weaker teams. I agree with that. But then they have a few pockets of really tough games. Chiefs-Cowboys is a brutal spot. And then at Green Bay, at Buffalo in late November, early December, with Brock Purdy and his small hands that shrink in the cold. I think it is more likely the Niners find themselves heading into the end of the season fighting to get into the playoffs than position for the 1 seed the way they were last year. And so I just think there are a lot more questions about the Niners than there. I don't think there are right now. I know it sounds ridiculous, but I've just only been right every year. I think there are no questions about the Chiefs. Okay. There are none.
Can I counteract that and support Brew? I just am going to take the 49ers over Aaron Rodgers and his Achilles first time out with an Achilles. So I will give him to the 49ers. JJ is going to play his second game and outplay the 49ers defense. I do not buy that. Stafford, they always play him. It's always a little bit of a dogfight, but 49ers did win the last matchup they had. Then you got the Patriots, which will be frisky, but we will lose that game. Kyler, I think, will be sneaky okay. And then they could be, I don't want to be like Mr. Extreme.
They need to be about 5.
They need to
have a great record going in.
If they were undefeated, you wouldn't be flabbergasted in meeting up with Mahomes.
So I would be. The Rams beat the Niners, I thought, in Week 18 of last year.
I thought the McVay-Shanahan thing flipped finally.
The Niners beat the Rams early in the year. They were 1-1 against each other. And so I just think that their hardest divisional game of the year is the one at the Rams. That's in Week 3.
Sure, I'll give you that. Let's give that one away.
The Vikings last year were one of the teams where Purdy played brutal against in that spot.
But you think JJ's going to light up the 49ers defense?
No, I don't.
The second game?
First of all, I'm not even certain, by the way, JJ McCarthy's going to be playing in that
Sam
spot.
Darnold was on the 49ers, we got this, guys.
No, again, last year it wasn't the Vikings didn't win that game because anyone lit up the Niners defense. It was because Purdy really struggled against Brian Flores' defense. And so I don't look at the Niners as a juggernaut. I'm not saying they're not a good team. I'm not saying they're not one of the NFC contenders. I do look at the Chiefs as a juggernaut. Yeah. I think that they are better this year than they were either of the last 2 years. They should be, or positioned better. And I know they don't have Snead, but they added a lot of other pieces. I think the Chiefs are I think the best bet in the sport right now is the Chiefs to win the AFC, and then we go from
I buy that, but I bet when they match up, the 49ers have a better record than the Chiefs.
Okay.
Side bet.
Okay.
Check in on Caleb. The #1 pick in the draft starts his schedule pretty smoothly. Strength of schedule coming in at 29.
Wow.
Will face off against a bevy of other young QBs who he should outplay, Brew. Will Levis, Anthony Richardson, Bryce, Jaden Postbach.
Yeah.
Also CJ Stroud, week 2, who should outplay him, theoretically, if history holds. Brew, are you willing to guarantee Caleb makes the playoffs?
No. I think they have a shot, a good shot, because as you said, 29th, easiest, toughest schedule in the league. But I'm looking at this. Philly's in. I'm going to put Detroit and Green Bay in.
Okay.
Both.
Obviously, one Atlanta or Tampa.
Big
San Francisco and the Rams.
Yeah.
And then I think Chicago's battling with, say, Tampa Bay or Atlanta and Dallas for that spot. And that's going to be tough, I think, to have 3 teams from that division. And I just feel like, as much as I like Caleb, as great as I think he will be, I feel like he's going to struggle a bit at first. I don't think he's going to have a CJ Stroud type rookie year, even though he's kind of set up to do it, because I think we know he's great off schedule. I think he's better on schedule than people give him credit for, but I think he's going to have to learn a lot in that regard. I think sometimes he might be running when he should stay in the pocket and throw the football. So I don't think he's going to come right in and light the league on fire.
So given how the schedule lays out, I do think he is. I also think this isn't a criticism, it's just an observation. I think the 5 teams that you were most confident were going to make the playoffs were 5 teams that made the playoffs last year, which is kind of how it always feels right now. And then you know what I mean? That's usually not how it goes. My only concern for Caleb, what if he has a slow start?
Yeah.
Because he had a bad end of his college career. As we talked with Danny Parkins yesterday about some Bears fans still really being Justin Fields guys. If he gets off to a slow start, or when he is kind of going through the growing pains, you drop some divisional games, which can really hurt you as far as making the postseason. Instead, he has a tailor-made start to his career. Of the 7 teams projected to have the worst record in football, he gets 5 of them in the first 10 or 9 weeks of his career. New England, Arizona, Washington, the Panthers, and the Titans. That's 5 of his first 9 games. I think there's a 7-2 start is absolutely on the board, which is why, and this is my bold prediction.
There you go.
Forget guaranteeing the playoffs.
Don't.
I'm flirting with the idea. I'm asking the bartender.
Don't do that again. That's a creepy.
Does that take want a drink down there?
Oh,
I'm
God.
thinking about buying that take, asking that
goodness.
take out for dinner.
Some take at the end of the bar.
I think Caleb could lead the Bears to the Super Bowl in his rookie season.
Oh, God Almighty!
Can I give you a little evidence?
And we
here?
Brock
you
Purdy
can't give me any
can't beat the
evidence. You
Vikings.
give me
And
hold on. I
Caleb,
didn't give me a
who has
take.
to play the
Hold on.
mighty
You can't give me
Vikings
evidence.
twice,
Hold on.
he's going to go to the Super Bowl.
Wildes,
Right. You
again,
can't give
I
me
didn't
evidence.
say
You
he
can give me a
couldn't
take.
beat the Vikings first
You
of all.
said you're flirting with the take. Winking at it.
Right, yes, and you're talking about the fact that I said that the Niners could lose to Minnesota, which is unrelated to this take entirely. So, we have seen rookie quarterbacks step in, be excellent, and the team be contenders. We saw Russell Wilson take his team to the divisional round. A game ended on a field goal his rookie season. Big Ben to the AFC title game his rookie season. We saw CJ in the divisional round last year. We saw Dan Marino, if you want to go back forever, was in the divisional round. Dak was in the divisional round his rookie year. Luck and RG3 made the playoffs his rookie year. Brock Purdy was in the NFC Championship game his rookie year. The idea that, and I don't know what Mahomes would have done his rookie year. I think he would have done quite well. There's no way to prove it. So the idea that rookie quarterbacks don't ever step in and have success is belied by history. And this Bears team is, I think, a playoff team with just slightly below average quarterback play. You know what I mean? Last year, they were a 7-win team last year, and they added Adunze, they added Keenan Allen. So in that week NFC, with that type of momentum, not having to play any divisional games until the last third of his rookie season when he's, more seasoned, I could see the Bears shocking everyone but me.
Outside of Stroud, which obviously was just last year, all those guys you mentioned, if I'm not mistaken, Marino obviously is out. They were they managed. Like Brock Purdy comes in as a rookie, he's just managing the game, making
Dak,
the right
Russell
play.
Wilson,
right?
Big Ben.
All
That's
those
correct.
guys. So I don't see Caleb as a game manager. I see, even as he's going through his growing pains, I think he's going to try to make spectacular plays, and I think that could hurt them initially. So I do think that's kind of something to look at with a rookie.
Can I ask you a question on that before we move on?
Yeah.
I think that it is on the board that Caleb absolutely would be willing to be a game manager if he found himself in the position where, oh, that's all that's all I have to do. He never was in that position in college.
It
was Mahomes.
He's never had to do that.
Right, where it was, if I'm not great, we're going to lose. So it would be, I feel differently.
Mahomes couldn't, remember, Mahomes struggled to learn how to do that.
Yes,
to just take the easy stuff. You know?
Fair enough. I just think that, I don't know. I think that if Caleb all of a sudden's like, oh, I'm playing with a lead, that's different. Oh, my defense is getting stops. I think you'll see less of the, I
think it's easier said than done.
That might be true. Yeah. I think the Bears could really shock some people. And I like they put flirting on the
Super Bowl?
I'm flirting with the
When are you gonna, make your move?
Well, sometime in September.
I'd be like, don't do it.
So you would be my wingman saying,
flirting with the Super Bowl. If the Super Bowl's at the end of the bar, like, buddy.
Caleb Mahomes in the first of many Super Bowls this year. Oh,
says
you're halfway
Mr.
right.
Raiders v. Cardinals.
Oh, you know what? Great. You know what, Brew? Great recall.
I'm just saying, Wild.
Great recall.
I'm just saying.
Thank you very much.
You picked the Raiders in the Cardinals. You're sitting here.
I never picked them.
You're high on your Denver Nuggets pick, so you're just making fun of everybody's takes.
You did.
I just had to bring you down.
You did pick Raiders Cardinals.
He's
going to say you got catfish or something.
Cardinals.
Yeah, Patriots thing.
Yeah.
I just had to take you down.
I forgot about that one.
Yeah, that's right.
Because,
Luka the series. Yeah.
Exactly. That's why they're so dangerous.
Well, because he can average his 18 points
yes.
in losses. Yeah.
No, because he's played one great game, maybe two great games the whole playoffs, and they're a game away from the conference finals. Because yesterday, this Mavs team with their remade defense, and credit to the young guys and credit to Jason Kidd, who I had been highly critical of Kidd's coaching early in his career. I think he has proven out to be a good, if not very good, NBA coach, which I didn't see coming when he was throwing drinks on the court. And he has remade that defense on the fly.
Bumped, wasn't he?
And for them, Brew, if people didn't watch last night, it was total control for the entirety of the second half.
Same as game 4, to be honest.
Right, without blowing it at the end. And we still are yet to see one game where Luka and Kyrie are A+. And I think that Kyrie will be better come the conference finals. And I think that this team, because they don't have to score 130 to win like they did the year they made when they were playing the Clippers in those series early in his career, I think that this is as dangerous a team as any team in basketball. I really believe, with Luka getting healthier as the playoffs go on, I think they're incredibly dangerous.
Look, you
kind of just threw that in there. We think he's getting healthier?
Well, I think that as long as he doesn't sprain his knee again, I think you saw it yesterday. He seemed more comfortable. He's learning how to deal with the pain, whatever pain or discomfort. Maybe.
We both picked them to win this series and last night. So if you get to the Final Four, I guess you're a contender, right? But to win the championship, I don't see it this year. Now, look, if Minnesota wins this series, I give Dallas I think I would pick Minnesota, but I give Dallas a legitimate chance. That'd be a great series. If Denver wins it, I don't see how they can beat Denver.
Thank you.
I just don't see them beating Denver, not yet. And Luka, I just think he is a little bit hampered. And as you say, I mean, you can look at it both ways. You can say, hey, he hadn't played that well, and look where they're at. Or you can say he's not 100%. Is he ever going to get there? And the thing that most concerns me, though, is Kyrie. Now, he's playing fine kind of defense and passing and all the other things, but I don't know what's going on. He's just not shooting the basketball. He's only shooting 12 shots a game. He's not shooting, he's shooting it okay, but he's just not putting it up. He's had 2 9-point games, and last night only has 12. I think for them to win the West, they're going to need Kyrie to be Kyrie.
He's going to have to be great in the conference finals.
Yeah, so I don't know. And it takes some pressure off Luka, too. Because the reason they're surviving against OKC, one of them is OKC's youth. It's just unprecedented for them to keep going further. But P.J. Washington, He's not going to average 19 points a game on 48% shooting from three. He's a 32% three-point shooter this year. So he is hot, and that's great for the Mavericks, but I don't think he keeps that going. So Kyrie's going to need to be Kyrie.
Have to. No, but I think Kyrie's maybe it's been a long time since Kyrie's played multiple playoff series in a year. And I think that
tired?
No, I told you this in your office, and I meant it. I think Kyrie is modulating and trying to ramp up so he has something left. Yeah, because Kyrie's body is not, to me, built for, we know it's not built for 100 games. It's not even with the playoffs included, might not be built for 80 games. And I think that Kyrie, one of the reasons he is trying to play more of a floor game, so he can, whomever they play in the conference finals is going to be their hardest test by a mile. So he has something there for that. Because I don't think all of a sudden he just, is not interested in shooting or can't shoot.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't.
He's had odd playoff, like since he left Cleveland. Boston, he didn't play well when they lost to Milwaukee. Brooklyn, obviously, he didn't play well when they lost to Boston. And this.
But it's usually, to me,
been frustrated.
Right, exactly.
No,
he's in such great mental space to me. Maybe it's the wrong strategy, but I think he is strategically approaching these playoffs. And because he seems so happy and so at peace with where he is, it makes them very dangerous. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.